All right, so this is a special chat. Yes, D.
Dude, oh my God, is your wife in here?
She is. She just gave me hard eyes. Nick Slogaton here.
Oh, hey, Mama, good to see you.
Okay, so if anybody's in the live chat that doesn't know what we're doing, this is the second round of me doing shameless conversations with friends and then recording them and putting them on YouTube. And so I figured I want to catch up with people, and a lot of the conversation is usually relevant, and so I figured I'd try this out for a little bit. Our romantic relationship over design started, I don't know, like 4 years ago, right?
The pickles
Yeah,
are hot.
I know. Our mutual friend Mark Hemian introduced us. He was working on your team in analytics, and that's when I transitioned from Netflix to Google, and you were my first design manager at Google and one of the best I've ever had. And you're now working at YouTube, right?
Yes, sir. I'm
What's
actually in one of my studios at YouTube right now.
Yeah. What's new? Like what are you managing? What can you tell? What do you want to share before we get like personal?
And I wish I could tell everything I'm working on, and I can't, and it's like killing me, but folks will just have to wait and see. What's new? You know what? You're going to love this one because you're in this world. There's a whole portion of our system which is not documented at a platform level, and it scares the shit out of me because it's incredibly important, and I need to start experimenting with different parts of it, so it's freaking me out.
Like a whole system of documenting everything on the platform and for internal purposes?
Yeah, there's a whole, I mean, it's public facing. It affects a lot of stuff, a lot of people, a lot of money, and it's like, no one has to document this stuff. Like, yo, people, some of us want to get paid, so it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's real. I was chatting yesterday on Twitter about one of my buddy, it was Matt Smith, who's independent, who we had last week, and he had said he's been designing a slider for the full day, and I was like, bro, I've been designing a confirmation dialog for 3 months. But it's just the true like scale and risk of big companies. Like stuff needs to be documented, it needs to go through legal, it needs to be legit, like fireproof, and you can't make mistakes.
I'm already afraid of like copy and text alone because it's going to involve legal, it's going to involve policy. Oh my God. And then it branches because of the different, platforms that we're on. Holy shit. So yeah, I just.
So you're having to like coordinate across products too, right? Which is like a cluster, right?
Yeah, it's kind of weird because I own the design teams for YouTube Music, YouTube Red, the subscription product, and then I own Creator, which is like everything in Creator Studio backs YouTube, the man behind the curtain stuff. And
Yeah.
a lot of it has overlapping policy, a lot of it has, overlapping tools, and then there's just like the consumer side where the viewers just come in and do stuff and just watch a bunch of videos like yours, and it's like, so it's a lot.
Crazy. And you've been on that team for how long now? Again?
Um,
Almost over a year, right?
I can't even remember. It tells you how much I've been doing since it's been over a year.
Yeah, because when I was trying to get back, you'd already been on for a while.
Yeah, yeah.
That's crazy. How long have you been a design manager? Because you were ever since I've been there, but like how long ago that you were like hardcore just IC?
You know what? It's weird because it's hard for me to break it up. Like I've been just a manager where I did not push pixels in the time that I've come to YouTube, but it was always a requirement of every other job I had that I could push pixels. So I've had the title of design director for 16, 17 years.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Very good. How are things on the home front? The family good? You got that work-life balance dialed in?
This has been good. I mean, it's like I still have that delusion that I am young and single and I can still make out with my husband kind of stuff. We don't get tired. No, No, vacations have never been like that in the last 5 years. You know, time off is not time off. So I'm still trying to adjust to like, I gotta let it go.
Yeah, for sure. No, there's times where I'm like, I'm just going, I go to bed at 8:30 after I put my kids down because I'm just spent, you know, and I try to get up early and get my work done early rather than working late, but that struggle is real. And it does, like, even vacation, like the holidays, I feel like more rested being back at work because it's more predictable. And like me and Erica always joke, it's like parenting on vacation is just parenting somewhere else. It's not vacation. Like you're just doing the same job somewhere else.
Christmas and New Year's, our gift to each other was a fist bump at midnight, and we were like, "Babe, we survived another year." like seriously, software engineer and a freaking software and tech lead and a design manager, and you have a child, and it's like, holy crap! And I don't know how you guys do. All our saver parents, so we take our cues from your Facebook posts.
Yeah, I mean, my Facebook posts, I feel like half the time are just me like talking about being on the verge of depression and dealing with all the shit I got going on.
We need
But
to be all in the same boat. Like parenting is commiserating together. I swear to God, for like.
it is. I mean, I think that's one of been the biggest things for us parenting wise is that we have a lot of friends that also have two, three, four kids. And so when it's thick, we're like, just come over, we'll pop some wine, let the kids run around because it's almost like divide and conquer. It's easier when they're all distracted rather than doing it alone, for sure.
Dude, it takes a village. Jesus.
Yeah. Do you have a lot of like other family friends in the Bay?
I moved my mom out here because I don't have family on the West Coast. All my family's either back down south or up in the Northeast, like New York way. Um, he's an only child, so there's not a whole like all the rest of his family is down in, Southern California. So yeah, we kind of do it hard.
But even like friends that you have in the Bay, are a lot of them parents?
They're parents, so we'll chit chat at night once the kids are asleep and kind of, oh my God, they did this today, and oh my God, how do you deal with this in work? And oh my God, I gotta make this work and I don't want to do it. We all
Right.
sort of do that in the wee hours together. Yeah.
Yeah, that's helpful. For me, that was one of the things that like when we lived there, it was weird. Even on our team, like people called me Old Man Joel because I was the one with two kids and was only, 28 or whatever at the time. But most of my friends are just now having kids.
I
You
have
know what I
some friends.
mean? Later in their life, and that was always weird. We were like the only parents, and that was kind of odd in tech specifically. But
I wanted to have my kid young though. Like I want
yeah,
energy for that. Not delusion that it's not gonna take effort. And I still want to work and have time and like come in and be tired. I see older parents come in and I'm too cute for that shit. I'm sorry.
yeah, treat yourself still. Yeah, take care of yourself.
Chocolate and wine ain't gonna cure all of that.
I asked this to Matt too. I'm curious, like, is there anything that like you're pumped about that you're just like, hell yeah, this is the shit, whether it's like an app or something that you're seeing in tech, something in just personal life. You're in like architecture and design and lots of other things. But like,
I
what gets you
in the
going?
like I'm excited about less interfaces.
Yeah.
I want way less interface. I want to be able to suddenly go, oh my God, what is my job? Because I'm not actually pushing pixels on a UI. So just
Hmm.
like all happening with voice. Um, I realized I went into like a Best Buy of all places and couldn't find those damn Google headphones that are supposed to like let you do the translation on the fly. And I really
Right.
wanted to try. Like, I'm trying to go to some foreign lands one day and couldn't find it. And I thought, God, I really need to experience more of this. And then, you see your kids with like a Google Home or something, and it's insane. In the interior design world, I am excited about plants. Like, it's so weird. When you really look at design, you don't see a lot of people who work with plants. You don't see a lot of people who decorate with plants. And I love green. Like, I love healthy environment. And I'm
Change
tired
things.
of sterile white. So it's just a nice thing that I'm excited about. I'm excited that my own place is, you're going to start seeing my house in New Orleans and show up in magazines, which will be cool.
Right.
Um, What else am I excited about? This
Wait, so when you say plants, are you like actually like gardening or just buying shit and putting it in your house?
both. So I've been teaching our kid to grow from seed. Like, get a pot. Here's a plant.
Yeah,
Have patience, water it, love it, live it. And so we've got like 2 avocado trees and pots and some I don't know, some small flowers and just house plants. But yeah, like think about it. You go and do a search on Pinterest for like interior design, and you will not see a lot of people that decorate with plants, except for those people that have realized, oh, fig leaf trees are like the
right.
thing to because oh, I don't know, Urban Outfitters and whoever else did it, West Elm, and that's the one plant. But I mean foliage, like full on jungle in the house.
Yeah, yeah. My Erica was just saying plants are our house's accent color. Like it's literally like concrete floors, white and gray, and then plants, and then gold and Christmas. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah. My thing has been I just recorded my most recent vlog. I haven't edited it yet, but like making meat and smoking meat and like being outside at a barbecue for me has been
That's
like
hot.
my favorite recent like making something that's not digital or software. Like and I think it's somewhat like natural, like Neanderthal of like tending to a fire and keeping it going. But some of these are like, 20-hour smokes. And so I'm waking up
Yeah,
every 4 hours doing it. And then you get to eat it, you know?
yeah. I'm really trying to try. I don't eat a lot of meat, but I will sample. But yeah, you know where I come from. Your shit better have some spice and be tasty, or I will
Oh,
chop
for sure. For sure. Yeah. Yeah. I want to go to New Orleans with you and do it like with your family because you've always
it.
talked about it, but that's hometown for you, right?
Hmm.
It's legit.
That's my first love.
It's good. Good food.
Yeah, good every damn thing. It's weird. It's like
Music, culture, all of it.
I try to describe my city to people, and I'm like, you guys, there is this vibration in the ground. There's a vibe, a buzz in the air. It's just something about that place. It's probably all like the old dead people, who knows? But it's awesome. It's one of the oldest cities, and it's just dope. So
Yeah, that's it. Did you go out there over the holidays?
yeah, I went down for a couple days to check on how some of the renovations were going, but otherwise, yeah,
Very cool. And are you still selling furniture,
not furnished,
decorations, stuff like that?
glass, all that
All glass, yeah.
mid-century case glass. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a fun story. Anytime we would go off-site somewhere, we'd go to New York or go to Chicago, we'd always have like these long days of schedule and whatnot. And Dee was our manager, so she led like all of the efforts. But then every city we'd go to, she'd talk about, hey, go enjoy lunch, I'll be back. And she would just go shopping. You would go to these random stores and pick up all the, and you basically find like mid-century glassware and then resell it at at a storefront, right?
Yeah, I've got a site that's, I think if you look at some of my Instagram posts, you can actually see some of the pieces. Like I a bunch to a friend of mine that's got a house down in the Garden District in New Orleans and other projects. The one I'm waiting on, the big one, is they're building a new St. Regis in Egypt on the river, like right in
Right.
Cairo. And they bought a ton of pieces for one of the suite decor. So I'm trying to get photos of that. But
I'm
it's fun.
balling.
Like I built an empire on buying shit that people thought they didn't want and making them want it. So
That's rad. That's rad. We talked and cried on video like a year ago.
I need
Um,
another.
I know. Well, I was talking in one of my videos on YouTube about like how like emotional state and like being negative or pessimistic as the world's catching on fire, like how that affects how much I can create and like focus and get shit done. And like this last quarter for me has just been like it's fine to say like you don't want to think about it, but this shit's happening and I can't get it out of my head. And I feel like I'm a little bit more positive in the new year. And I know that you had like obviously a ton of things this last year with family, culture, politics that like were heavy on you. How do like are you better? How does that affect your work? Like how do you deal with it?
Um, I can't. I try to not bring it to work. It's kind of
Yeah,
hard not to. My God, I work on like this massive social platform,
yeah,
but I definitely try to not bring it to work. The only way to get out of it is to talk. Like you've been on the end of some of those furious late night texts, like, oh my God, what the fuck is wrong with the world? Oh wait,
Yeah.
can I swear?
Yeah. I
Wait,
mean, I swear. Yeah.
okay. I never know if you can swear, but anyway, um, yeah, I kind of use my drives into work to like deal with shit in my own head and work it out. But more than anything, it's like relying on my friends for these conversations where we can just hash it out and talk about stuff and weep and come out on the other side and just be like, okay, I might not answer to how to solve the world's problems, but in my own little circle, I'm good. I feel like I I was there for the stuff we were dealing with, and I'm like, fuck, I love this dude. Like, oh my God, and fucking wife, and now I'm swearing all over the place. Oh my God, kids, everything. I'm like, because the struggle is real, and it's. I think
Yeah.
more than anything, people need to know you're not dealing with hard shit alone.
Right.
That out that some of your friends aren't your friends anymore. That some of the people that you thought were family might not really be truly family. They're family in blood, but and in name. But some of your friends might be more real than that. I don't know.
Yeah. I think for me, a lot of it's been uh, being content with the juxtaposition of like things being on fire and like beauty, right? Because it is both of those things. Our cousin had this post she shared where um, there was this accident on the freeway. They were trying to resuscitate this guy. I think he was on a motorcycle, and he died in her hands, right? As these people were trying to like resuscitate him. And she wrote this post of like, this was one of the most like traumatic, like terrible things I've experienced, but also one of the most beautiful things in seeing people from all over stop and try and like help. And I think that's like, you see the most beauty in like the most dark times. And I think that's like, I'm learning just to be okay with that and not let it bum me out, even though it's scary, you know?
I'm trying to find ways to pivot negative stuff into like helping me be more creative. Like, if I don't ever want to have to feel this way again, and I guarantee I'm not the only one that ever felt like this, what can I do, whether it's in my day job or just in the stuff that I have ideas about or I want to create, that would help people avoid that? And there's not always an immediate answer. Like, I'm not saying everything has a technical solution, but just thinking about life, how all this
Yeah.
stuff fits together.
Yeah, it's been different for me because when I was always like in my artist days, when I was troubled or dealing with something, that was fuel for like making stuff, being music or art. But
Yeah,
like in the context of practical like software design, it's not the same thing. I'm not fueled by my emotions to make buttons and dialogues, you know?
right?
It's different for sure. It's
Yeah.
different. Very cool. What we'll do some designy things. What with the teams that you're working with, you obviously do a lot of hiring and team structure things. You're a large organization. What's like your biggest, not to be negative, but like what's your biggest thing that you think like designers are missing? Your biggest gripe? Things you're
My
like
big
like sick of seeing or hearing?
that people don't know what they're getting into. Like, I'm always an advocate for like, if you don't know, you better ask somebody. And what I'm right now is a lot of people that want to do good creative work. They don't understand the environment they're coming into. They don't understand what big corporate places demand versus what a startup would demand. Like, I literally, right before we got on this, I had complete stranger come in and meet me because she's like, I want to start interviewing. I'm a student out of school. I want to get into design. What should I do? And I'm like, you got to set your expectations. You're not going to go into a big company like a Google or a Facebook. What happens at a lot of those companies is decision making by consensus, and that's a hard skill to learn as a designer. Because on the one hand, right, people to be the authority, know design, but really, there's a lot of opinion and final say that doesn't belong to us. Like, we don't own the stuff we design. We design the best we can, and even then, like when it gets passed to like an engineer you're working with, and it's just an interpretation of what you designed. It's never going to be the actual perfect thing unless you're that magical unicorn who can build, code, and release everything your own. And at this scale, no one does that. But then on the flip side, like for designers that are going to small companies, they have to understand you're going to go into a place where you're jack of all trades, you do every job and touch a lot of stuff. Maybe you can make some decisions, but you're probably also not going to learn a lot in a startup environment because you're having to just do,
Right.
right? And it depends on what you want. There's no law saying you can't go back and forth, but just know what you're getting in for. Most people just want to know, like, does design make decisions at your company? And it's like, yeah, they kind of do, in partnership with other people in other situations and things.
It's not that simple though. Like it's not who's making the final call. Like I've been finding like being on Chrome now, which has such a big user base and is so like systematic and has like a marketplace vibe to it. Design is the easy part,
Yeah.
right? Like the solution is obvious sometimes, sometimes not, but like design often is the easy part. It's how do you now align this with everything else? How do you make sure it's communicated so everyone knows what's going on and that the buy-in's there, right? Like it's coordinating and communicating and pitching that for me is the the thing that makes people successful, not design, because the design is easy. It's almost easier to learn. It's less relational, right? It's less organizational.
I said to an engineering friend last night, and I don't know if he gave me props for this right or wrongly, but the way I explained it to him was I said, you know what? Any product that's out in the world, any design is really all the stuff that people experience as the end user. That is the output of an organization. That is not,
of course,
that design. That's like, it's been through so many different compromises and permutations. Every product that you ever experience is literally the output of an org and that org structure. It's not so much like the will of the designer. And I can't believe in this day and age, there are still designers that think it's like it should be their will and their way. It's hard.
Well, and that's how it's sold and celebrated, though. Like, even if it's an organization, there's one asshole on stage saying, this is the thing that I did or that we did, but it's like their idea. And it's just not true. Like, it's not how it goes. Even in the context of like one person that does it for themselves, like there's feedback loops, there's other things that are, unless you're building something entirely in a vacuum, which never happens, like to think you're so smart and prolific to figure things out on your own it's just not true. Like you're not going to do the best. I've always said, like when I talk on stage, that like if your thing is what you thought it would be, you're wrong. Like you didn't iterate, you didn't think about something, you didn't get feedback. And that's the benefit of having an organization, is that like everyone is involved to contribute and make sure it's the right thing.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing I want people to learn that just still gets on my last nerve is the work that we do as designers. And I get it. You want a career, you want to get some sort of notoriety, you want to be good at what you do, people to recognize that. But this is not what you own. When you work for these companies, you don't own any of this. This is not really a representation of you. If you really want that true creative outlet where you own it, it's yours, you don't compromise it for anybody, do that outside of work. That's your art, that's your paint, that's your furniture that you're building, that's the house you're designing, that's whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
it's your YouTube channel.
Keep it safe, because that's the thing that's you. People get so discouraged at these companies, like, but I'm not being, I'm not achieving my true creative potential. And it's like, babe, real world shit, like real talk. You don't own any of this.
Nor do I think like if people owned it, it would make them happy. Like there's nothing that gratifying about, I mean, there's something gratifying about making something and seeing it in the real world. But the reality is that like I found the more that I could detach my worth from like what I'm designing and have, like I get way more benefit and self-value out of sharing and making videos, let's say, or just being a dad than I do from designing pixels. And I think it's very ambitious to say like, oh, I'm going to design things. I'm going to be known as the person that shipped this thing, and that's why I'm valuable. That's my legacy. And I don't think that's a worthy effort.
Yeah. I don't know.
How do people get there though? Is it just through like time? Can you teach it?
I don't think you can teach it. It's kind of like people have like life lessons, right? You could be a parent, and you know this. You can tell your kid something 20 times, and maybe they'll listen, and maybe you'll save them from some sort of hurt or pain. But it's almost like until they experience it themselves, So something comes back to bite you. I don't think you really internalize it because it's always going to be outside of you.
Yeah.
With time comes with this.
It's maturity.
Yeah.
So immature designers are going to be immature, right? Like there's no way around that.
Yeah, and you just have to, I just try to be honest with people and guide them, you know?
Yeah. It's a big part of your role, right? Is
Yeah.
to help people understand the organization. And do you know Alex Ainsley?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Alex, he's been really good just helping me because Chrome is such a long and big organization. Just like, what do you want to do? Like, what do you want to contribute and where do you fit in? Oh, here's this person, work on this project to get to know these people. And it's been good to have that guide, even though like I wouldn't say I'm like a young designer. Like I feel like I have some maturity and patience and understanding Google at least. But or each organization is different, right? Like product to product, so it's always hard. It's good to have a boss that helps you.
You know what's weird though? I'm realizing there's a big gap in our industry between the people that like recruit for us and the people that we need to come in. Like I realize I spend more time informing like recruiting type people what I need and trying to educate them. And I'm starting to wonder if I should just do it myself. Like there's
Yeah,
multiple companies that I'm like, would they pay me to explain to them who they need, what they need, and how they need it? Like, I don't design products where I put pixels anymore. I design teams that design those products. Like, I have to know business, know design as well, and then know how to fit bodies to those roles. And I'm like, just the standard recruiting doesn't work anymore. These are people that do Boolean searches for keywords like motion design. And while I'm talking about UI motion, you send me someone that's worked in like TV or film.
right.
You're wasting like, and no offense, they have not been a designer, so they don't know what we're up against.
Hmm.
So,
Well, and I think it's
like,
just lack of visibility too of what like our industry is so new still and from process and whatnot that no one really knows. Even portfolios, we know what a good portfolio looks like, but it's hard in the spectrum of what everyone does. Like if I'm going to spend a year pitching a strategy and some systematic design solution that isn't pixels, it's all just like this is what the product cares about, this is what it doesn't care about, this is the ecosystem and the marketplace and the user and all these things, and I strategize this whole thing. How do you communicate that in a portfolio, right? And I don't think that there's a good, not to the recruiters, like they don't know how to look for it, right? Because
oh,
people aren't saying it.
that's why I ask for so many like resumes to be funneled and portfolios to be funneled through me. Let me look, and I can tell you in like I swear to you, 3 minutes or less if this person is a fit. But it's like there's so much time now in business wasted with as fast as these companies need to move. You spend so much time funneling the wrong talent through to the wrong teams.
Yeah.
So
And it's why it's so easy to shuffle people because it was easy for me to come back to Google because like, yeah, you did that other damn thing. Like you get it. I don't like it's easier to be like, oh, you just did it, so let's just grab people that we know that can do it, which isn't fair because we should be growing as an industry, but it's hard without that real world experience. You can't teach it really. How do you teach someone to
I
design at scale, right? Like it's hard.
think that's why design issues with proving its value. When we don't when like someone like a recruiter that doesn't have to come from our trade can basically find someone because of like keywords on a thing and it's not really proven. I don't want people to get hired by jumping through a ton more hoops. I'd rather the process get faster because the people that are making the call, if this person belongs in this org, knows what the hell they're talking about. That makes sense.
Yeah. No, the you know Gary Vaynerchuk?
Mm-mm.
He's a entrepreneur. He owns like a big digital marketing agency, but he's done a lot of stuff on YouTube. Anyways, he always talks a lot about like hiring fast and firing fast. Like don't make it too precious. Just like hire the damn person, let them like show up, and if they don't, fire them. Rather than trying to extend this long, trying to guess in a room of this whether this person's right or not. You usually can't tell until they're there. But I know it's a big cost to hire people too, so it's a hard thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't have to do hiring. Just the interviewing part. I just give feedback.
Yeah. Anytime you want to swap, I would love to go back to doing some of your work.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's fun. Well, I'm not going to take much more of your time because I know you're busy, but this is fun, and we got to get,
A cocktail. It's Friday, dude.
yeah, we got to have some champagne soon. I'll see you when I'm in the Bay.
Yay! I miss you.
Awesome. Love you. Thanks, everyone, for joining. This will be on YouTube in a week or so. Love
Me
you.
too,
Bye.
dude.